Earl Skakel wishing all the Earlomaniacs a happy 4th of July. It is hot, hot, hot. Here we go, John Smith. Happy 4th to everyone. Do what you want. Eat what you want. Do lots of fucking. It's 4th of July, baby dolls. Hello. Not going to be terribly long today. Just thought I'd check in. That's Lois. That's Lois and her smoker's cough. Lois did a very long walk today, if you watched my earlier stream. So she's a little tired. But then I just got invited to a barbecue at the tattoo shop on Sunset. So, home of the Vagos Motorcycle Club. I have been invited. And I, like I said, always feel safer when I see them sitting on their bikes outside the shop at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So I'm going out of respect, for I feel that they keep me safe at night in the mean streets of West Hollyweird. So hope everyone got to. Are those bikers? No, I'm not. I'm just a friend of the family. So it's a great feeling when I'm walking my dog at night and there's some, let's just say, undesirables walking around in a haze. They look out for me. So I always give them respect when I walk by. Now, we got off on the wrong foot one time when I was walking Lois in a Sons of Anarchy t-shirt, and they were outside just chopping it up, and they looked at me like, dude, take that shirt off. Any comedian's going to be there? I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not really, I don't have any tattoos, so I don't know what the tattoo shop, I don't know what the hang is like at a tattoo shop. You think I would? Yeah, I mean, I think they do appreciate the leather. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great day to wear leather right now, to be frank. So, it's hot for us in LA, but I have a friend of mine who lives in Palm Springs, and I think today it was where he lives. He's in Palm Desert, 111 degrees. I have a lady friend who lives in Sacramento, and she told me the other day it was 118 degrees. When's your first comedy gig at the Kookaburra Lounge, Earl? Probably never. Although they sent me a friend request on Instagram, I'm like, I'm not accepting this. Like, I know the owner, like, we're cool, but it's a very interesting study in terms of how a new comedy club in Los Angeles can make it or not make it. I mean, they definitely have some disadvantages. It's for those of you wondering, the Kookaburra, I feel like I'm doing a commercial for them as usual for free, but the Kookaburra Lounge is I think it's on the 5th floor of the Hollywood and Highland outdoor shopping center. For those of you who've been there, it's the floor above Dave and Buster's. So the reality is there's not a lot of walk traffic up there. There just isn't. So you got to rely on letting people know, hey, there's a comedy club up there. And although there's great parking, you're asking people to park 6 floors down from where the club is and then go up the escalator or elevator. Um, so I find people in Los Angeles are lazy. That's what makes going to the Comedy Store great. Your Uber can literally drop you off 50 feet from where the original room stage is, um, and the main room, and so on and so forth. Laugh Factory as well, Improv, Ice House in Pasadena, Hermosa Magic Club, all these clubs, where they're at. You got to try and find the Kookaburra Lounge. And I am rooting for it because, hey, another comedy club in the city is better for every comic, myself included. So if I don't get booked at the Comedy Store one day or one night, one weekend, 1 week, 2 weeks, I can call Katie and say, hey, I'd love to do a set. But, I'm a businessman. So I'm happy, 4th to everyone in the chat. So I'm just, fascinated. To my knowledge, there's no signage. Uh, like, so if you're walking around on the first floor, it's not like there's a big sign saying Kookaburra Lounge, 5th floor. And the first floor of Hollywood and Highland is really where all the foot traffic is. Like even Dave and Buster's, you kind of have to struggle to find it. I mean, you got to know where it is. Um, and there's not a lot of walk traffic on the Dave and Buster's floor, and there's virtually no walk traffic, if any, on the Kookaburra Lounge floor. So I'm rooting for it. To be honest with you, it's not exactly where I would have put it. But I hear the inside's great. And, we'll see what happens. Any update on returning to the mothership? I've been asked to return. So I just have to figure out a way for another comedy trip to Austin to be financially rewarding for me. Gone are the days of me losing money, even to play good clubs. I mean, the plane tickets, a couple bucks. The Red Band's moved operation, so he lives in basically a condo now. It's great, but it's a 1 bedroom, so I can't really stay there anymore. And the hotels in and around Austin that meet my level of standards, they're not cheap. So, but I will be back. I mean, the inside looks great, but I just and the lineups, to be frank, have to get better. I mean, people who want to go to a comedy club, it's like TV channels. You look at the movie channels and go, okay, you've got Die Hard's playing on HBO. It's got Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, yada yada yada. On Showtime, you've got Porky's, blah blah blah. So when you compare the lineups that I've seen they have to the Comedy Store, you're not going to pick the Kookaburra Lounge. They've got some good comics on it, but they've also got some comics that wouldn't be put on potluck at the Comedy Store, and that's just being frank. Hopefully it works. I mean, without delving into their financial situation, they've got the money to sustain some rough months, but I just think that I get offered business proposals all the time. Hey, Earl, do you want to um, go in on ownership of a gym or a bar? And my first question is, where's the location? Second question is there walk traffic? Like you guys know, my two favorite restaurants are Jones and Dantana's, and they both hit every single check mark I would want in owning a business. Visibility, high traffic. You don't even have to advertise. You drive by Dantana's, probably if you live in and around that area, you drive by Dantana's 20 to 30 times. Same thing with Jones. So it's almost like subliminal advertising, just driving by it. So we'll see what happens. That 1 bedroom was on purpose. Smart move. I haven't seen a ghost. I've heard a ghost at the Comedy Store many times. I'm gonna Imma tell Rogues to have you on his pod. He should listen. I don't know who Rogues is. Um, yes, Ghost Paranormal Talk. You ever seen anything? I like I said, I've heard a lot of stuff. You can hear footsteps in a dark room where there's no one in the room, 100%. Yes, anything's better than doing stand up at the Starbucks I started at. Uh, yeah, I mean, and once again, nationalists. I I don't know if I would have called it Kookaburra Lounge. I could maybe see getting away with calling it the Kookaburra Comedy Lounge because, you're just like I said, people are lazy. They don't wanna research anything. So, now I'm sure they're high up in the search engines, in terms of, if someone from New York is here and they but, most people automatically are gonna go to the Comedy Store because that's a name that is just it's talked about on, like, thousands of podcasts and, it's been on TV shows and whatnot, so that's who you're going up against. So, like I said, I know Katie, the owner. She's awesome. Um, I don't know what the planning or the thinking of, the club was, so I don't know what went in, like, to the name, the location. I mean, in theory, the location's great from the standpoint of that Hollywood and Highland might be the most crowded intersection in the world, maybe outside of, New York, some of the intersections of New York. I mean, every time I drive by there, there's hundreds of people in the crosswalk. Um, I'd feel a little better about the club's location if it was like if you've ever been to Hollywood and Highland, like where the Foot Locker is or where Shoe Palace is. Or hell, even where what is it? Lucky Strike Bowling Alley is. Uh, listen, uh, comedy club business is it's a great business if you are successful, but it's like any other nightlife business, restaurants, bars, whatnot. Um, it's tough to succeed in because everyone is going to compare you to the Comedy Store, from the staff to the lineups to the ease of finding the club, parking, um, the history. That's just something that obviously the Kookaburra Lounge has no history. So it's unfair. But people are going to they're gonna when they go out. Listen, it's expensive to go to a comedy club. Parking's $20 easily, maybe more. I think next door, the hotel parking lot for a comedy store patrons is, I think it's $25. So you're out $25 before you even sit down. A 2-drink minimum. So if you have a date, it's 4 drinks. Now you probably went to dinner beforehand, so whatever the cost of the dinner was, put that in. And if you don't get on the guest list, you're paying anywhere from $20 to $50 a ticket. So it's an expensive endeavor. But you could sales pitch people the Comedy Store because you're seeing, on one lineup, like I'm on the main room lineup Saturday night. It's famous comic after famous. It's Jeselnik, it's Steph Tolev, it's and Craig Fitzsimmons, Mark Barron. I mean, I don't know if that's the lineup for this Saturday night, but that's who you're competing against. That's pretty tough. Um, so, who knows? Any share stories you've heard? Please do. I will, Jose. I mean, I've told a few of the stories. I don't want to bore the other people in the stream. Um, do you think there will be comedy clubs in 30 years? I mean, the entertainment business has certainly changed. I think the Comedy Store will be there forever. Improv, Laugh Factory. Um, but we live in an era of streaming services. So you know Your Netflix account is what, 12 bucks a month? You wanna watch a comedy? You wanna watch comedy? Okay, I'll just watch Matt Rife's special. We'll just say, "Come over, we'll Postmates." So the way people do things is dramatically different. I was telling someone the other day, like, when I was, a baby boy and taking dates out, there was no Netflix and chill. You had to go pick up your date, take him to, say, Westwood, pay for parking, pay for dinner, pay for the movie, nightcap after, pay for that. Like, it's an expensive endeavor, taking someone out. So, uh, but I do think certain businesses will always I think comedy clubs will always be around. I think bars, restaurants, nightclubs, maybe not so much. I mean, there's virtually no nightclubs in Los Angeles that I know of, but I'm out of the loop in full disclosure. Uh, 200 bucks and you haven't had a drink yet. I mean, you can, I mean, let's try and guess how much it actually costs to go to a comedy club. Like, I know we just kinda did the breakdown, so this will be quicker. So, the Comedy Store, let's say, if you park at the Andaz Hotel, it's $25. I think if you park down the road from, the store at Pink Dot, I think it's $20, but it's a bit more of a walk. So $25. Now, let's say you couldn't get on the guest list, you don't know a comic, and, you're just coming in from Chicago and you don't know anyone. You're sitting in the main room, a booth. I don't know what a booth costs these days, but, it's probably for, I don't know if they charge by the person or just, hey, if you want a booth, it's $100, whether it's just you or 4 people. So, but let's say you just get 2 regular seats up close. I think it's like 40 bucks a piece. So you're out, what was it, 40 and 40, 80, parking. You're out $105 before the show even starts. You're on a date, let's say. So 2 drink minimum, 4 drinks. That's probably anywhere if you're drinking hard liquor, 50 to $100. So yeah, it's literally about $200, and that's not even counting the dinner. Now, you can't throw that expense at the Comedy Store because, plenty of people go to dinner and don't go to the Comedy Store. But if you throw in the dinner aspects of a comedy date night, you're looking at anywhere from, 3 to $600. I mean, I once took a girl to Matsuhisha, which is a real high-end, um, sushi restaurant on La Cienega and San Vicente, for those of you who know where that area is, and, with no booze, because me and this girl don't drink, but no booze. I think it was about a $600 dinner. Um, well, I mean, music clubs, like the Whiskey's all pay to play, um, and that's really the only music club around me. Um, so it's, I mean, well, yeah, but there are cheaper options. Like, yeah, 100% William Zoom. If you take a girl to Carney's, it's the best $4 to $5 burger you can have. But I don't know if I would take a date to Carney's. Well, I mean, I'm guessing. I mean, like, John, like William just said, you could take a girl to Carney's, but so if it's a first date, you're probably not going to take the girl to Carney's. Um, like, I'm trying to think. Some of my first dates were usually at Sushi, or Jones or Dan Tana's, and, like, a Dan Tana's dinner, 2 people, it's 100 to $200 with no booze. With booze, um, you know, you're talking 2 to $300. Um, and the same thing at Jones. Jones is pretty economical, so, you could do Jones for about 100, with a little bit of booze. So, yeah, hit the like button if you can, please. Um, so, I mean, but we're talking Los Angeles prices. Um, Now, if you go to House of Comedy in Scottsdale, Arizona, it's a little more economical. but then you got to live in Scottsdale, Arizona. When did the stream start? Well, 20 minutes ago, 5:30. Do you have to dose Lois with meds for fireworks? I mean, this is the only good thing about Lois getting older is she's not completely deaf, but she's up there. So tonight she will not hear the fireworks. But when is Lois your dog? Yes, Lois has been my dog with 4 ex-girlfriends ago. Stanhope carries his own booze, yeah. Uh, well, I mean, I've not lived in Scottsdale, but I've done the House of Comedy. That's where I did the Shane Doan roast, and fuck, man, that's heat on another level. Um, I mean, Queen On gets it. It's you know, probably tonight, right now. What is it? What time is it? And it's 5:57. Aren't they an hour ahead? So it's almost 7 o'clock in Scottsdale. It would not surprise me if it's not close to 95 degrees. Um, yeah, I mean, Lois is at least 14, and me and Gail, who is Lois's dog mom, we take very good care of her. Massage parlors. I haven't been to a massage parlor in a long time. So yeah, I mean, I had, let me see, my mom and dad had a Yorkshire Terrier that was 21 when they passed, or when she passed. And to be honest with you, she probably should have been put down around 19, but my parents loved that fucking dog. And to show you the effect of what a death of an animal can have, Sheba, the Yorkie, died October of 97. My mom died uh, February of 98, and my dad died April of 98. So, I mean, I'm not saying if the dog wouldn't have died, they wouldn't have died, but, it didn't help. Um, I mean, it depends what's wrong. I mean, me and Gail just split a $500 vet bill for x-rays. And, the x-rays show that Lois had a heart murmur and fluid in the lungs. So, God knows if we would have said, okay, well, let's do more tests or whatever. I mean, vets are fucking scams because they prey on, obviously I would spend whatever, and I know Gail would as well, whatever we had to on Lois to keep her comfortable. And me and Chandler with Annie, the German Shepherd, we spent ungodly amounts of money on food and all these different oils and elixirs and fats to fatten her up because she was dying of cancer. She was very skinny when we got her, but to Chandler's credit, we or she researched what kind of basically medicine to give her to fatten her up. So, but that was outrageous because once me and Chandler got Annie on the program, she ate like a fucking horse, man. So she ate a lot of dog food, and we had to put her medicine in the food. So the medicine would go quicker than usual. A buddy of mine hits a rub and tug at least twice a month. Well, I mean, it's the same thing going to a prostitute. Uh, you basically pay for the quickness of just blowing your load and not having to take them to dinner. Funny thing about massage parlors for me, I don't think I've ever told this story, so it's I always like, I know I tell a lot of the same stories on here just for new listeners or whatnot. Um, when me and my buddies used to go to hockey games at the Forum. Now the Forum is on Manchester and Prairie. Um, and there was a place called Oriental Acupressure about what would it be, a mile west of the Forum. So we'd all go there to get jacked off before games. Not every time, but a couple times a season. So we'd go in there, and there'd be a huge line of guys in like hockey jerseys and King t-shirts and beanies, and we all kind of got to know each other. And then we'd be in line at the food stand at the King game, and then we'd all like look at each other and just go, "I know where you were about an hour ago." So gross, so nasty. It's a different era. Uh, how do you feel good about yourself after that? I felt pretty good usually. Hello. The same guy's a cop, so he saves up a portion of the drugs he confiscates and saves them for about 6 months and gets two hookers for a weekend. Yeah, I mean it's disgusting to be honest with you, but um, I don't know. I was single at the time, and for me, it wasn't so much about getting jacked off, but it was like Russian roulette with this place because some of the girls were like models. Like I'm talking, I'm not going to say they were tens, but like they were hot, and then other girls looked like Mr. Miyagi. So the most exciting part for me was laying face down, ready for the massage, and you hear the footsteps of the girl walking to the room. Now some are Hispanic, some are black, some are white. It was a real mixture. I still remember the leader of the place, Connie. Ah, Earl, you here before? You here before? They always ask if you've been there before. They just want to make sure you're not a cop. Um, No, some, looking back, some were funny. Like some would give me like a legit massage first, and then you turn over now, you turn over, boing. And then others would really literally like touch my shoulder blade for 2 seconds and they go, turn over. It's high volume, baby. Business is business. So what do they do? I don't know, John Smith. I never really asked. Throw it away, I guess. I mean, I'm sure they don't keep it. But it's back in the mid '90s. Life was different back then. Um, so that's what I was doing before hockey games in the '90s. Hey, we get to go see Wayne Gretzky, but before, let's take care of business. But the group of guys I ran with, they were a real ragtag group of dudes, all high end agents and managers. And, they worked, I've said this before, Monday through Friday. Here's the thing about being an agent is, you're up at 6 in the morning because you have to deal with clients in the East Coast. And, you have to stay probably till about 7 p.m. because you're dealing with clients now on the West Coast. So, you're there literally 12 to 13 hours, and then you usually have to go to like a premiere or a debut of a a brand of whiskey that your client is involved in, at 10, 11 at night. And then, you get home and you got to like basically do prep work for the next day. So Monday through Friday, you're going to film sets, some at night. I know that on I'm Dying Up Here, whenever we had night shoots, you always had the top managers, agents, or I'm sorry, the top actors. You always saw their agents and managers there. And, I'm talking 1, 2, 3 in the morning. I mean, the last day of filming for I'm Dying Up Here was a very, very long day. I think we got to set at 5:45 in the morning, and we literally got cut. I don't know, maybe close to 3 in the morning. I mean, it was a very a profitable day because after 12 hours, you're in overtime, and I think after 18 is double overtime. So that check was nice. So if you're managing, say, or your agent of say Melissa Leo or Andrew Santino or Rick Overton or Ari Grainer, you could be up 20 hours easy. Um, and I'm Dying Up Here was not the happiest of sets, to be honest with you. So there was a lot of agents and managers working overtime on that show. Um, so I'm getting confused in here. We got John Doe and John Smith. Why don't we get Johnny Boobala in here? Um, so Point is Monday through Friday, an agent or a manager, you're working easily 100-hour weeks, easily. So on Friday night through Sunday night, you're working 100-hour weekends, blowing loads. So that's who I was going out with, and those are the group of guys who got me into stand up. They were all like, "Hey, Earl, you're the funniest guy we know. Why don't you just get into stand up and we'll help you." Uh, so maybe my fans should be called the Johns. Pew! Mr. Z in the house. Yo, 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 yo. Are you new to the stream, Mr. Z? Welcome aboard. Welcome. Now, Mr. Z, come on now. I don't know. I don't want to ban you, but come on, dude. Like, that's a bannable offense. And Mr. Z, I hate to do this to you, but if I have a mod in here, you got to cut Mr. Z loose. I'm a pretty liberal guy, Mr. Z, but you can't. Come on, man. Like, really? How old are you? You're gonna spell out the N word? You could at least super chatted me. Hello. Well, I think we have our troll, our first troll. Mr. Z, I'm about to cut you, but if you super chat me, I'll keep you around. Hello. No mods tonight. Boy, the mods picked a hell of a night to take the night off. I mean, Mr. Z's coming in hot. You got to give him that. Let me click on Mr. Z's name and see. I mean, Mr. Z, I can't have that, dude. Like, I don't want to ban you, but like, you've been warned. You've been warned. Um, what if I added Mr. Z as a moderator by accident? Yeah, I mean, Mr. Z, like I've got probably the best sense of humor on this board, but like I told you, one thing don't fly in here, and that's the racist shit. So, you've been warned. I don't even know how to block him, to be honest with you. I told you guys from day one, we can all agree to disagree. We can have different political opinions. We can, you guys can think I'm not funny and troll me, but like, no racist shit in here. This ain't Gino Bisconti's stream. I'm sure he's streaming right now. Or Mr. Z, why don't you go into Kumia's Twitter? Like, you seem like you guys would be friends on Twitter. So see, that's what happens. You just click the dot on the right and block him. Well, see, I see three dots. Channel activity, go to channel, pin message, report, remove, put user in timeout, hide user on this channel. All right, so Mr. Z, I'm asking you nicely. Please don't. You've expired your one chance rule. And see, the last 3 minutes I've spent talking about Mr. Z instead of cool comedy stories or whatever. So, um, that's um, it's unnecessary. Jose, it's 4th of July. Relax. Go get a tug and chill or time him out. Well, he seems to quieted down. Yeah. Let me get a limit. Let me get I need some energy after expending that energy on Mr. Z. No, you don't want to go to one of those massage parlors, bro. Trust me on that one. Cool comedy story. Tell us a Mitzi story. Sadly, I actually don't have a good Mitzi story because when I got passed at the store, she was on her way out. So, um, I wish I did have a good, Mitzi story, but I don't. No, Mitzi would not have passed Brendan Schaub. But, she might have now that I think back because there's a few people who were passed during the Mitzi era that almost were kind of a joke pass, like, I wanna see this person suffer. So, did you ever sleep with a porn star? No. Let me see. Well, actually, I did, yes. I did, yes. But she was more of an OnlyFans girl, so she didn't do hardcore porn, but she did, like, some solo videos on, what you would call, like, Pornhub and stuff, so, yeah, I did. And, the sex was great, but, she was pretty damaged individual. So, she just sucked up a lot of energy, and, I'm 55, man. I don't have the, um, energy to deal with the drama and the bullshit anymore. So, can you do a Mitzi impression? I really can't because I didn't really meet her. Like, Eleanor Kerrigan does a great Mitzi. Ray DeVito removed 55 YouTube channels, month alone. He calmly censors his chatters, complete dolt, so sensitive. Well, I mean, dingbat, here's the thing. Um, uh, I just the racist stuff, I can't have it here. I've never banned or muted someone who said, "Earl, you're not funny," or whatever, but the racist shit is just like, I can't do that. Did you ever throw her down a flight of stairs? No. Hello. Um, no drama. Yeah, I just at 50, 25, I could deal with anything. 55, I like my girls to be low profile. How about some jokes? How about some super chats? See how that comes off, Jose? Just kidding. I don't really do jokes on here by request. Um, the thing is, racist shit will get your channel taken down. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I'm all about a good joke. I'm all about the edge. I walk on the edge on stage for sure. But, you know, I just, the racist stuff is just, I can't. And, if you like that kind of humor, follow Kumi on Twitter. I just, how about some jokes, funny guy? Well, I only get paid for jokes, Jose. I mean, what am I, a monkey bouncing a ball on his nose? You know, this is a stream of consciousness. This is not a stream where you guys can just hear me talk for an hour and do bits and material. Like, I don't waste material on a stream from the standpoint of you want to hear jokes, Jose? I'll take care of you at the comedy store. I will put you on the guest list. You will be given VIP status. But I'm not doing jokes on a stream. Who's the best looking Kennedy? Cortez Kennedy. Hello. I would say JFK Jr. JFK Jr. I just heard a machine gun go off down the street. Yeah, I mean, be careful, guys. Be careful. It's a lot of freaks are out there tonight. Has anybody in the comedy store lost it to a racist joke? Not that I know of. I once did tell a joke, and it's actually a true story about the first time I heard the N word, and it's a really funny story. But it's not as funny if you don't say the word. So I'm on stage one night, and Jason Geelern, one of my good buddies, yells at me, "Hey, Skakel," because there was a huge black dude in the front row by himself. I mean, this guy was like Aaron Donald huge. And Galern was like, "Hey, Skakel, why don't you tell your N-word story now?" And the black guy looks at me and goes, "Is it funny?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is." He's like, "All right, you get a free pass, but it better be funny." So I tell the joke, and he laughs really hard, which is my only concern at that point. And I'm like, "Hey, I got about 12 more N-word jokes. Can I tell them?" He's like, "No." Peter Chicken Man Brennan, $2. Did you just block Tommy? Has Leslie bumped you lately? No and no. And I know he's not in here right now, but my lost interest super chatted me 4.99 on an earlier live stream today when I was walking, and I did not have um, my ray gun with me. So this is for my lost interest. How's the sound? Good? Because I haven't touched a thing. Um, look up the movie Reckless with Daryl Hannah. She was hot. I love that movie, and it also had Aidan Quinn in it. Very good movie. I thought Aidan Quinn was going to be a superstar, and he certainly had a nice career. You know, he falls into that Michael Pare. Okay, see, isn't that weird? Like the sound is fine. I literally haven't moved this mic since last week's episode or this week's episode where the sound was wonky, and like Adam Baldwin, I've tried to get on the Inappropriate Earl podcast or this stream. You know, you watch My Bodyguard, and like this kid has a presence. Uh, I mean, that's 44 years ago, and great in the Chocolate War, as you know, William. And you know, he just never quite after My Bodyguard had that role. Like, you know, I would love to know what movies he auditioned for that he didn't get. You know, like, I look at him and go, he could have been in, what was the movie with Tom, Cruise and, was it, Traps? Taps. You know, I could see Adam Baldwin in that, and, you know, another actor, Craig Sheffer, you know, when I saw him in Fire with Fire, I'm like, "This kid's a star." Like, you know, the movie wasn't great, although I liked it, uh had the great John Polito in it and Virginia Madsen, a young Virginia Madsen. Uh, but I thought, man, this guy is a star, good looking. You know, it's so funny how all those guys, Pare, Sheffer, Adam Baldwin, just they basically became character actors. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, someone's doing well. $2. What current store regular wins a hot dog eating contest? Well, you know, you I watched that today, and by the way, Taps is a great movie. Starring also the great John P. Navin Jr., who played Wendell with Tom Cruise and losing it. Um, hot dog eating contest. In theory, you'd think the fattest person would win. Like, you know, you look and you're just like, uh, but you know, like the guy who won today was probably one of the more the three guys who finished in the top three were the most in shape guys, especially the older dude. I think he's 58. He was jacked for a 58-year-old. So I mean, I'm trying to think who eats a lot. I mean, Fat James, rest in peace, could probably still win it. I mean, that guy was a machine. Now, if you're talking famous comics too, I mean, Bert, I could see Bert polishing 30 to 40 dogs off. I mean, even though he's like Mr. Fitness. I mean, Rogan, you know, he seems like a pretty hungry guy sometimes, you know, like he eats all that beef and shit. Uh, I'm trying to think. And then you've got some heavier set comics. I don't know. I mean, and now if you take out the famous comics and just go like people of my level, like fame wise or whatever. I mean, I don't have a big stomach, so I don't really. I can't really eat a lot. So, man, that's a good one. I mean, Richie the manager, I would think could probably pound some dogs. I saw him at the last Steeler game I went with him pound a street vendor hot dog in like 2 seconds. So, I just think it's funny. The most disgusting thing I woke up to watch that shit today. And, you guys all know that, you don't just I thought, legit, I thought they just showed up. There's like 10 dudes. I thought, "Yeah, we'll do this for a goof." But you gotta qualify for other fucking to get into the hot dog thing, you gotta qualify, like, eating a 10-pound burger in 7 minutes or whatever. And one of the guys who finished in the top 3, like, last week, ate 91 pancakes in 8 minutes. Boing! Queenon, $1.99. Which decade was Tom Cruise's movies the best? The '80s by far. I mean, Losing It, Top Gun, I mean, just on those 2 alone. Have you ever met Adam Baldwin? He was good in the series The Last Ship. I would love to meet Adam Baldwin. Um, because obviously I'd talk heavy My Bodyguard, but then I'd also talk, um, him being the leader of the, school bad guys in the Chocolate War. What William Zoom, what was that name called? Not the Skulls, the Vigils, the Vigils. Um, let me say, Justin Martindale or Taylor Williamson. Who would if do better in a hot dog eating contest? Probably, I don't know. I mean, they're both kind of skinny. Uh, well, not necessarily. I mean, the 3 guys who finished in the top 3 today were both all 3 average size guys. Is Bert Is the Burt arc over by now? It's not. He's still selling out arenas. David Lucas would kill at eating hot dogs. Not necessarily. I mean, he's, chubby, but like that's not necessarily a requirement. I mean, he was a big fat dude. The black dude who was eating today, he wasn't even in the top 8. Uh, yeah, the guy that was unbelievable. What's it, Booker? What's the big black guy's name? Who won the lemonade drinking contest. Like, it was unbelievable. He drank a gallon of lemonade in 20 seconds. Like, what is going on in this world? Um, some people eat dirt. What are the top 5 movie props you would love to own? Well, that's a good question, Dingbat. Yeah, and he was also great, William Zoom Baldwin, in that, which is probably my favorite, along with Smith. My favorite one season series on Fox, The Inside, starring Rachel Nichols as a female profiler. And that show was kind of like Millennium. It was just too dark for Channel 11. Fox, for those of you who live in a different area. Dingbat, that's a very good question. What are the top 5 movie props you would love to own? Probably the big gun from Predator, the knife from Cobra, Stallone's first shorts from Rocky, Stallone's hat from Over the Top, and maybe a surfboard from Big Wednesday, like the one where Jan Michael Vincent, where the guy at the end of the movie walks up to the 3 servers and goes, "Hey, you're Matt Johnson, right? I just wanted to tell you that was the hottest ride ever." And then the Basil Polidoris soundtrack starts playing, and Jan Michael Vincent looks at the guy and goes, "Keep it. So if it ever gets big again, you could ride it." I would love to have that surfboard. Um, I love the firm. Gene Hackman. You can't go wrong with Gene Hackman. I would like to see a food contest in Africa. That would be pretty funny if they had a hot dog eating contest in Ethiopia. Rachel Nichols, well, that TV show, I remember had some great guest stars as the killers. Like, I think Mike Starr, who is the guy from Dumb and Dumber, the gas man, and the great Hart Bachner uh, played a role in, I think, the last episode they ever aired. Um, yeah, I mean, there's other movie props I would love to have. maybe the knife from the first Rambo. Have a good night, John Smith. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, what are the top 5 Boone products you would love to own? The White Snake t-shirt that he tried to rip me off on, a couple CDs he had, maybe Dave Taylor's iPod that he literally stole out of Dave Taylor's car and then tried to sell it to him 5 minutes later, and the laptop that he sold to Hinchcliffe, for Tony showing him his dick. Yeah, I mean, I met Mike Starr with Rob Schneider at the Dallas Fort Worth airport. Um, very nice guy. Rob and him are talking. He's like, "Hey, this is my opening act, Earl." He's like, "Hey, Mike Starr." I'm like, "You're not Mike Starr." He looks at me. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "You're the gas man from Dumb and Dumber." And he was like, "Okay." Um, yeah, I mean, Rachel Nichols is one of those actresses that should be more known. Same thing with Amy Smart from Smith. Like in rewatching Smith, I started looking at some of her other stuff, and Uncle John. See ya, John. We got another John in the house. John Smith, John Doe. And now we have Uncle John. Um, who was the guy who was doing the racist stuff? He kind of disappeared. Like I like what is your like? I don't know the dude, but what purpose does coming into some stream with 25 people and spelling the N word out and then just bouncing? Um, my buddy Matty Goldberg wants to do a movie about streams. Now he wants to do it specifically about the Dabbleverse. So uh, maybe it was one of your crazy exes. No, I know. I know Chandler's writing style. So if she was in this stream, I would know. Well, someone got me the other day, a couple streams ago, when they said, "Hey, do you know a comic named Nick Nick?" And then a last name that adds up to that word. Well, as someone who was raised essentially, I had a co-father when my dad was away on business, Leroy, who was black. Um, oh, he's from Melton's Discord. Okay. Lady Slug, I think you might be new to the stream. Welcome aboard. We can always use another woman in the stream. So we'll do another 8 minutes here. So if you got some questions or whatnot, ask them. Happy Fourth to everyone. A lot of people. I talked about this on my live stream earlier today. In terms of someone asked me why I'm not doing as many live streams. What I'm really concentrating on right now, and it took me, yeah, pretty much, William. I killed a few whales myself, if you know what I'm saying. Threw one down a flight of stairs too. Hello, boom. See, I can make a joke about a false allegation. Um, uh, Basically, I found that the live streams are for you guys, the fans. They don't really bring in a lot of new people. Now, what I have found out that the shorts I've been putting up lately have really increased the watch time. Um, and the 1 to 2 minute videos. So I'm hitting YouTube from all sides right now. So I'm doing slightly less live streams until I can build up the subscriber base, and then hopefully sooner than later, instead of 25 people in the stream, maybe we have 200 people in the stream. Uh, I want to see that OnlyFans chick. I mean, she was hot, very young looking, but she was like 28, I think. I have to do is the filming locations in homeless camps. Yeah, I mean those things um, are fun for me to do, and I do like the shorts. I mean, I think YouTube is just better for me than TikTok. I just TikTok. It's such a young crowd that watches that shit, but with YouTube, I think I finally found my niche in terms of shorts. And the analytics, I don't like how YouTube takes 30% of whatever you make on here. That's a little excessive to me, but I do like the analytics. They do show you basically what you're doing right and what you're doing not necessarily wrong, but what you need to work on. So, yeah, I mean, with the shorts, some do well. Most do pretty good. Like most shorts, I do between 500 and say 2,500. I do get some. When I see a funny TV commercial, I'll film it. So it's not the greatest like look, and those typically get 100 and below, which isn't great, but it's still better than nothing I get. Um, so, the shorts I think will help build the live streams and ultimately make the streams better. Uh, who do you think was the Pat Patterson of the Comedy Store? Well, I don't want to say a name because I don't want to get sued, but let's just say he was in Revenge of the Nerds too. And it's very well known. Boing, Waber in the house. I was a Sharon Tate murder. I'm sorry. I thought your exclamation point was an I. Was the Sharon Tate murder a satanic sacrifice? The way her body was left in that pose suggests so. Well, it's kind of funny you say that because I was watching Superman and Valerie Perrine popped up. And Valerie Perrine used to be my neighbor when I lived at on Burton Way. I would always see her late night walking her black lab, and I believe she still lives in the area. Um, I've moved a bunch of times since, but I think she still lives wherever she lived on Burton Way somewhere. And apparently, she was supposed to go with Jay Sebring, the hairdresser, because they were dating that night to when all the people got killed. And she literally, at the last minute, got called in for a gig and didn't go. So that's crazy how the fate of your life can switch basically on a luck. It's like Bruce Boudreau, the coach of well, I don't know if he's a coach anywhere right now, but he was coach of the Anaheim Ducks, coach of the Washington Capitals, Vancouver Canucks. He was supposed to be, excuse me, on the 9/11 flight out of Boston with Ace Bailey and Mark Davis because they were all in the Kings organization, all scouts at the time for, I think, the Manchester Monarchs that were the Kings affiliate team at the time. Um, so I forgot. I think he woke up late or something, so he missed the flight. But and he's an analyst on the NHL Network. Well, I'm not talking about Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson, I don't believe, was on Revenge of the Nerds 2. Take Me Back to Paradise. Um, some other famous person was supposed to be there also. Can't remember the name, but isn't that crazy? Seth MacFarlane also missed the 9/11 flight. Yeah, I mean, now the rumor is, I've got some sources, the NHL moles that I have, and Ace Bailey, who was a very, very tough hockey player, mainly a minor leaguer. Uh, I've heard through more than one person that he beat the shit out of some hijackers. Like I can imagine Ace Bailey looking over at Mark Davis and going, "Hey, stay here, kid. I'm gonna get the fucking. I'm gonna get control of this cockpit." And obviously he didn't. But yes, William Zoom. Please don't put the name in the stream, but you can look at the cast of Revenge of the Nerds 2, and you know, you could figure it out. Chicken Man Brennan, uh, very easily. Did you ever visit Paradise after the fires? Odd seeing molten metals besides intact trees. No, it wasn't James Hong, Peter Chicken Man Brennan. Take a look at the cast of Revenge of the Nerds 2. And the scary thing is, I maybe about 6 months ago went. There's a shitty open mic on Monday nights in North Hollywood at the Universal Bar and Grill. I mean, you can't get any worse of an open mic than this show. It's horrible. It's El Horrible for you Dabbleverse freaks in the stream. And I saw that comic in the back talking to young comics, like young open micers. And I'm like, oh man, if they only knew. That's how predators work. He tried to help. Yeah, Peter Chicken Man Brennan, I think you're on to something. I also saw him in the Comedy Store patio the first time he saw Brenton Biddlecombe, who's a youngerish looking comic. I mean, when Brenton was in his early 20s, he looked 12. And this particular person was salivating, like literally drooling. So you will go to that shitty mic, but not the Kookaburra. What the fuck? No, my friend was on the show, and she had asked me to go watch her. And of course, when I walked in the room, the host was like, "Do you want to go up right now?" And I'm like, "I'm not doing a Leslie Jones in this room." The special, of course, O'Neill's touring the world with Bert right now, and the Pistol Pete is, he's got to make money. None of us are getting paid for doing the special. So he's doing a TV show right now. So it's not on hiatus, but it's just um, I don't like it's not going to be filmed within the next week, but 100% they protect each other because they have secrets on each other. So Kip Smith, we needed you a couple minutes ago. Who was the guy, William, who was spelling out the N word and the F word? Fuck, I mean, we had a Discord freak in the house. Let me see if I can find Mr. Z. I don't know if there's a way to put him in time. Actually ban him. You can't be spelling that word in here. Uh, so I mean, I don't recall seeing Mr. Z in here before. This will be the first official banning in the when you get banned in the Earlverse, you're an idiot. Will you do the LA Austin podcast scene to promote? I'll go on anyone's podcast who will have me when I'm doing that special, and I'll probably even reach out to Rogan. Uh, say, hey man. Lois. Okay. I mean, maybe he was just a drive-by smash and grab. Lee Van Cleef, of course. Lee Van Cleef. Awesome as Hulk in Escape from New York. By the way, what the hell ever happened to Fresno Bob? Just kidding. All right, so we got we'll do one more minute, guys. An hour and 5 minutes. I've given you a lot of material today. I think 2 shorts, 1 live stream on the streets, and now this. I want to walk Lois up to the tattoo shop to get a burger, and then I will take her for another long walk before the fireworks get nuts. And then I'll probably exercise a little bit, even though with all the walking I've done today, I probably don't need to. But, I'm a soldier. Yeah, I mean, I do like doing the Ally McGraw. You want to talk beautiful? Watch Ally McGraw and Convoy. We'll do, you know what? We'll do 5 more minutes. We'll go to an hour and 10 minutes. An hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, did you see that? If you go on my Instagram, it's probably just ending right about now. Is the shark scene in The James Bond movie. No, the alligator scene in the Roger Moore James Bond where he walks on the alligators. And they used this shows you how badass filmmaking was in the 70s. They had a stuntman literally walk across 5 alligators who were fucking alligators. And, I think on the 3rd attempt, he almost got killed. But that's how they did it back then. Um, Lauren Holly and Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, what are you referencing, Mr. Chicken Man, Mr. Brennan? Uh, yeah, I've got a watch Band of the Hand. Is that on I'm assuming that seems like something that would either be on YouTube or Amazon. You know, Amazon and YouTube, they go rogue sometimes. Hit the, like button if you haven't done so. Yeah, I mean, that's why I like Cobra is a great movie. There's no CGI. You actually feel like you're watching a documentary on a serial killer. Any stories on Chad McQueen? I think what was his character's name in The Karate Kid? I've never met him. Never met him. Uh, have you ever heard a joke bomb? You mean from myself, Queen on? No, Joe Rubbo was not in Losing It, my friend. Joe Rubbo was in Last American Virgin. Yes, unlike the big fat black dude in the hot dog eating contest, this is 16 ounces. That guy, and it's taken me about 30 minutes to drink this whole can. He drank a gallon of lemonade in what was it, 20 seconds? I love Last American Virgin. That's a great movie that doesn't get talked about more. You know, there's a couple teen movies from that era that should have been better received. Last American Virgin. I mean, that was such a sad scene when he walks in the kitchen and he sees the girl cheating on him with the good-looking guy. Um, just once. And then, you know, Private School with Matthew Modine. That's another good one that deserved a little more. And we spoke of Craig Sheffer earlier, but Some Kind of Wonderful is probably the least liked of the John Hughes movies, but I think it's my favorite John Hughes movie. Um, it's horribly bad, but awesome. Yeah, I mean, you know, he kind of peaked with the Dutch was his name in the Karate Kid. Um, you know, the Karate Kid movies. He never really did much after that. Uh, another comic joke bombs that you know, nothing's coming to me uh, right now, but I mean, there's a lot of funny jokes that just for whatever reason don't. I have a joke. It's not answering your question, but like I have a joke about the son of Godzilla and Godzilla being an abusive father and how big was Mrs. Godzilla's pussy if Godzilla went inside it and baby Godzilla came out of it. It's never worked. And I've probably told it literally 50 times. It's never once worked. Um, who are your favorite Canadian comics? I mean, K. Trevor Wilson, absolutely. Tyler Morrison's probably my favorite. If you want a really funny roast comic, check out Tyler Morrison. We were in the Ric Flair roast together. So I used to see Chris Penn. I used to do a youth hostel every Saturday night in Santa Monica. And me and my girlfriend at the time, after the show, and it was a horrible youth hostel. I mean, el horrible. Um, and we would walk on the 3rd Street Promenade after, and there was a Russian restaurant that Chris Penn would be at every single Saturday night. And he was hammered most Saturday nights. And, I'm walking with Shelly at the time, and, me and Chris Penn walked by. So I'm like, hey, man, what's up? And only a few people in this stream are going to get this. I looked at him. I said, "Hey, man, I'm Earl." He's like, "I'm Chris." I'm like, "No, you're not." And he kind of looked at me. He was a little hammered, so he was like, I think he was about to say, "Fuck you, man." I'm like, "You're not Chris. You're Tom Drake, friend of the community." And he kind of laughed. And that's about it. Do you regret not becoming a father, Earl? Not really. I mean, I think I would make a great dad, but, now I'm 55, so I just did someone else's podcast yesterday, and she was like, my friend Montana, she was like, "Do you wanna be a dad ever?" I'm like, let's say let's say I got you pregnant tomorrow, Montana, and by the way, her episode will be out, I think in 2 weeks. I'll let you know. You would have the baby in a year. I would be close to 57 years old. I don't wanna have a 13-year-old that's 70. That's not fair to the kid. Um, is that the same youth hostel you did with Brody? No, that was the youth hostel on Schrader I did with Brody. I would gladly sacrifice Michael Pindup, Chris back, 100%. Will you buy Diddy's house? 35 million and dropping. His 3 a.m. videos are disgusting, all coming out. Well, if you guys super chat me 35 million, I promise to buy the building. Uh, 100%. I mean, I would be a great dad from the standpoint of, I'm not rich, but I've got enough money to pay for a baby, barely. I mean, it's expensive having a baby. I mean, I have a fixed income in terms of my family business, and then when you throw in my comedy business money, uh, voiceovers and hold on, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Business, business, big business, baby doll. So when you throw in the cartoon money and the comedy money, I do better than most, but kids are, diapers, food, formula, doctor's visits. I mean, it's a couple grand a month, and you better make sure you have that couple grand a month, or John Doe, the Godzilla joke needs a little long of it. So scientists say we get involved from simple cells, and the human body is made up of a billion of cells. Can you imagine how? Yeah, yeah. I mean, something like that. How far away are you at any moment when in Hollywood from a woman who is locked in a basement? Well, my place is central, so not that much. If I was to, if I could afford a huge house, I really wouldn't. If I won the lottery, I wouldn't buy like that guy who won the $2 billion in LA. He bought like a $50 million home, and like I would want a nice home. If I won the lottery, let's say I won $100 million in the lottery, I'd buy about a $4 million home. Turn one bedroom into a closet, and then I was driving around Bel Air the other night, and right down the street from my old childhood home, um, there is a super mansion being built. I mean, insane. And I look at that and go, it's probably a rich Saudi or an Asian businessman who's just a billionaire and wants to have the biggest house in Bel Air, but he probably won't use 90% of that house. You'll use the kitchen, use the bedroom, and maybe the movie theater. So, I really wouldn't, and I wouldn't have like thousands of cars. I'd get a nice Porsche, automatic, of course, because I can't really drive stick. Excuse me. My bad, my bad. Sup, Earl, Jeffrey LeBlanc. We're just about to end, but hello, hello. I met Bret Hart at the Ric Flair roast. Earl, do you have a plan if LA ever goes? LA is in full chaos, baby doll. You keep checks laying around like Ty Webb and Caddyshack, 100% there. I would, I have a nice collection of clothes upstairs, but it's not gaudy. King of Bahrain. Yeah, I mean, but this house in Bel Air, when it's finished, it's got to be easily $100 million home. But like, I don't know. Is Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin still playing late night after 3 a.m. visits to the Comedy Store? I don't think so. All right, you kids. Earl Skakel. I've got to go to my tattoo shop barbecue. Thank you, Kip Smith, for moderating. Kip, be on the lookout for Mr. Z. I don't know. If we get people from Discord starting to come, I still don't know what Discords are, to be honest with you. I had someone the other day telling me, "Oh my god, I mentioned your Earlverse stream in the Discords. People are going to start coming over." So uh, I'm off to wound care at the VA. Are you a nurse, Jeffrey? I don't know what that means. Yes. Well, given who's going to be cooking the burger, even if I don't like it, I'm going to eat it all because they could probably kick my ass. Slap shot the like button. Yes, please. Thank you very much. We had a nice, fun 4th of July stream. I keep it real, Dingbat. I keep it fucking real. But I don't even know how to start it. Um, so like I'm not looking to become rich on YouTube, but I do think it could be some nice supplemental income. Um, you know, ask Red Band. Yeah, I mean, I need a Red Band, but Red Band is really I'm surprised Red Band doesn't get talked about more. I mean, and I always like to give him love because he's been great to me. Paid me a lot of money to do stand up when he didn't have to. Um, Half the time I wouldn't even take it. I'd be like, just give it to someone else on the lineup who needs it. And this podcast, if he's not taping that Mencia thing at the Comedy Store, who knows if Rogan even does a podcast, long term. I mean, that's what really popped Joe into people's heads as like a rogue. This guy's a comics comic. Look, he's standing up to a joke thief. Come on, Mr. Z. Uh, Kip Smith, ban him. I mean, you are the first person, Mr. Z, to be banned in the Earlverse. Like, who does that? Like, we're all having a good time in here, talking comedy. Uh, and Red Band started Your Mom's House and obviously Kill Tony. So, but like, holy fuck, man. Um, well, he's not going to be in this stream anymore. So, please ban him. I said from day one, the only thing that won't be tolerated in here is the racist stuff. So thanks for ruining my high, Mr. Z, you fucking Momo. So Earl Skakel, Chris Z is, or I'm sorry, Chris Z. I'm combining streamers now. Mr. Z is like spelling the N word out. Yes, he's done it 3 times, I believe. So it's just what is going on here? Like, why would you purposely try and get my stream taken down with that shit? Uh, Red Band doing San Diego soon. Yes, indeed he is. Yeah, he will just. I'm sure. Well, Kip. Even though William Zoom is correct, you know, ban them, and it's just like. Uh, but I did Hackmania, so I would think people in Melton's Discord would like me. But you know what? If you don't like me, you're certainly entitled to your opinion. But it's just like unbelievable. Smack Talk Zumach, yes. Well, I mean, listen, I'm all ears into how to promote myself, but I really don't have a lot of technical knowledge, so I need my own red band. Thank you very much. Magnolia, welcome, welcome. See, I see some new people in here. So, for every Magnolia and other people, we you know, we get a Mr. Z. Well, I did leave but in my defense, when the Comedy Store called me on Friday afternoon and said, "Here was my reason for leaving," and then I got to go. Um, the Saturday night, closing out the main room on Saturday night, it's $500, which is more than what was getting paid to do the whole weekend of Hackmania. So, I think once I told Melton that, he understood, like, um, so, that's all. All right. Well, Earl Skakel over and out. Appreciate you guys. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a stream tomorrow. Friday night, I might do one Friday night, tomorrow night, and then maybe Sunday night. Sunday night seems to be the popular one for me. I mean, and when I say for me, I mean, between 40 and 60 people show up on Sunday nights. So let me thank my the tippers. I did not do that yet. Did you just block Tommy? Has Leslie bumped you lately? What current store regular wins a hot dog eating contest? Peter Chicken Man Brennan with both of those questions. Queen on $1.99. Which decade were the Tom Cruise movies the best? The 80s. Hey, wait, is that the real Kevin Brennan? We've got Kevin. I'm about to end the stream. Uh, when you coming on my show? Oh, I mean, next week. You give me a date and I'll do it. Kevin Brennan in the house. A lot of people think me and Kevin don't like each other because I don't go on MLC anymore. But the truth be told, and I'm assuming Kevin's sniping me. Kevin, you're about to get 20 more listeners. Um, uh, I just don't have anything to add to the steel toe stuff and whatnot, but I would like to come on MLC next week. Oh, it's not the real KB. Well, Kevin, if you're stream sniping me at some point, I'll make my return to MLC at your leisure. Earl Skakel over now. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Be safe out there. A lot of idiots drinking. And you'll probably see me tomorrow night. Check out the shorts and all that stuff. And thanks for the support.